There's two ways to understand the process of doing a PhD. What I'm going to do is give you these two ways. I'm going to tell you a bit of a story. And then after that, give you some tips in order for you to actually excel and do really well at doing a PhD. And this advice, information, whatever you want to call it, is going to be fairly life-changing for you because I think it's going to completely change the way that you understand the scientific process. So the normal way that we understand doing research is that we look at a problem, we identify that particular problem, and then we collect some data on that particular problem, and then we tell a bunch of people about a problem. And that's exactly how everybody sells what it is to do a PhD. That's what everybody tells you. You simply just have to do, and it's a bigger problem, and you understand the problem in a more nuanced way than what everybody else has done. But I'm going to tell you a true story about myself and what it was to do a PhD. I am a professor. I'm associate professor of innovation, and I have a degree in engineering, and then I went and did a business PhD, and now I have built the Reciprocity Project, which I'll tell you about in a minute. So when I started my PhD, it was my first year, it was 2005, and I was really excited to do my PhD, newly married, and we moved to another city. That's often what you have to do. And I had done a master's degree and an undergraduate degree, and I was really excited because here I was going to become a researcher and a scientist, and perhaps one day, maybe I would have become a consultant. That was my ultimate goal. Somewhere when I started my PhD, I was doing courses, and then I had a father, my father-in-law got sick, and he had cancer. My dad had cancer, and my father-in-law had cancer. And my father-in-law had to go to the city where I was to get treatments. So he traveled to where he was, and he was doing treatments. And I was traveling back and forth between the hospital where he was getting cancer treatments, and he didn't really get better. And then all of a sudden, my dad had to come down to get some treatments to see a doctor. I was two days drive away from my hometown. And he made the trip. We had a nice little holiday vacation. It was in November of that year, visiting. And then he was making it back, and he got ill on the way back, and he couldn't make it all the way. He had to go to the hospital. So it turned out my father-in-law actually started getting really, really sick at the same time, and he had to go to the hospital. So I was traveling back and forth between a hospital that was 6 hours away to go see my dad on his way, and he was actually really getting a lot worse. And then I had my father-in-law in the hometown, or the town that I was at doing my PhD, and he was getting a lot worse. And they both passed away within a week of each other in December of that year. This is what it means to do a real PhD. This is the real experience that you're going to go through. You're going to think that it's all about doing research and it's about doing calculations, sitting and doing this romanticized view of doing work, of studying and understanding what you're going through. But in reality, what you're going to have to go through is a lot of life. You're in a moment in your life where there's lots of things that are going on. Usually maybe you're in your late 20s, maybe you're in your 30s, and there's a lot of life that's going on around you. And you have to balance and figure out how to do work at the same time as manage life that is going on around you. Now, here's the other challenge that you're going to have to face. You're going to want to study, do some courses. Usually the way that it's set up is that there's 2 years of coursework, and it's very rigorous. You have to read a lot and you have to write a lot and actually analyze a lot of data. And then you have to go and do your own work and create an original idea for 1, 2, maybe 3 years or even longer. And you're writing research papers when you're actually doing this. The research papers could be anywhere up to 60 pages long. Sometimes I've had them go up to 80 pages long. So when you're doing this and you're writing so much and you're analyzing so much, what you don't realize, it's not one paper that you're writing. You have somebody on the other side, maybe it's just one, but likely it's multiple people telling you that your idea is not that good. It's telling you, they tell you often that there's all sorts of flaws. So not only do you have a lot of life that's going on around you, but you also have a system that repeatedly tells you that what you're doing is not good. What you're doing is really imperfect. What you're doing shouldn't be pursued. And so it's your job to stand up and say, I can do this. It's your job to look at the people that are doing all of that stuff and say, screw you, I'm going to do this anyways. This is what it means to do a PhD. This is what it means to be an academic, where you stand up and you have that belief in your stomach that you are good enough, and you turn it around and you say, screw you. So I want you to go on the internet right now, and what you'll see, or after this, is a lot of negative memes of what it actually means to do a PhD, or what it means to actually do research, to be a professor. And I want to turn this around. That's what the whole Reciprocity Project is me turning this around and saying, what would it be if we began with the idea of creating a non-rejectable research paper or a nearly non-rejectable research paper and work backwards to actually get there? What are the steps to actually get to that moment where you actually have something that is really reasonably good? But here's the trick. Because the whole system is set up to be extraordinarily negative, you always get rejections. You always get a lot of people telling you that what you're doing is not good. Then what if we turned it around and flipped it on its head and said, we're working towards this, but along the way we coach you and help you and make sure that you actually do a good job and it's fun and exciting and interesting. And that's what I'm building with the Reciprocity Project. Is every day I'm working on it. Every day we're building new things to make sure it becomes easier and more exciting and more motivational so that you can actually finish this thing. Because the whole process, you're going to experience it and you're going to realize, I can't do this. That's the message that you're going to feel. Almost everybody feels like that. And it's up to you to determine that you can do this. I believe you can. That's why I do all of these videos. That's why I actually talk about this. I want you to see what it means to be a normal person functioning, doing something like this and building it at the same time. I'm a real professor, not like what you see on a lot of other different YouTube pages and various different things on the internet. I'm a real professor struggling to build this thing out. I need your help. Every day, I'm going to help you determine and get this mindset to say, I can do this, but I need your help. I need your support to go into the Reciprocity Project, to build it out. I need you, even if you want to, you can actually help support it by buying credits and things like that. But what I'm going to tell you, this whole journey of doing anything that's important in your life, it's not easy. It's never been easy. If you read the stories and you talk to people around, they will tell you that it's extraordinarily difficult. I was having this conversation recently, and this person was saying how that they were, every time that they go and they give a talk, they would throw up before they give a talk. Now, if it was easy, do you think that they would throw up before they gave a talk? And they went through and they had everything that they were doing inspected. I want you to understand that it's about the journey of dealing with this. It's about the journey of sticking it to the world. Even though the world wants you to stop, there is this unbelievable amount of desire for you to stop, but it's for you to keep going. Every day you get back up and you do it again. Every day you determine that you can do this. The process of doing a PhD is like any other hard problem that you're going to face in your life. Doesn't matter whether it is about raising a family, whether it is writing a book, whether it is about building some entrepreneurial venture. It's your journey to get back up and do it again. The whole thing is telling you that you can't do this, but you get back up and you do it again. Every day you try and you keep going. That's the biggest thing that I want you to take away. And this is my biggest tip that you'll ever hear from me, is that it never feels good, right? The process is not meant to feel good. So my son the other day, he's on Boy Scouts, and one of the things that he had to do is a month of exercise. Every single day he had to do a month of exercise. Every day it did not feel good. He was excited for the first 3 days, and then after that, reality kicked in. And then it was up to him to get back up and do it again. And I was proud of him. He was able to do it. It was challenging, but he got back up and did it again. Now it's your job to do this every day for 3, at the minimum, likely more, like 5, 6, 7, 8 years, until you get to the moment where you say, I'm going to get going, and we're going to ignore what everybody else says, and I'm actually going to finish this thing. And I'm going to work towards it no matter what ends up happening. I want you to get into the belief that you can do this every day, where you stand up and you say, screw you to the rest of the world. That's the best thing that you can do. That's my best tip, is realize it does not feel good. Realize that it's your job to get back up and do it again, and to say screw you to the rest of the world. Every little day, you get back up and you do it again. Doesn't matter what the world is telling you, what is going on in the world, but you get back up and you do it again. No matter what is happening, you go, you try, and you pursue. I hope this helps you. I hope you go and you watch this, you realize the journey is going to be very, very tough. There's going to be lots of people that tell you that it's extraordinarily easy and it was just this glorious thing and all of this nonsense. But in reality, when you actually talk to them, when they're in the process, when you're seeing what they're going through, you will know that they didn't want to do it. You will know that they will give up. They will change the story after and tell you how glorious it was. But in reality, what is going on, they'll know that it was very, very miserable and it was very difficult. And I want you to understand that is the normal process. To get up, get going, and try one more day. Every single day. You take a step, little by little, you actually accomplish this thing. All right, take care. Have a wonderful day. Bye.